Hi, I'm Phoebe Nabors of Neighborhood Books, and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 7 of Dragonsoul. In this chapter, Aleisha is trying to settle into the town of Pucco, where she is planning on learning how to control her magic. You will remember from Chapter 6 that I introduced a character named Fortuna. And in this chapter, we're going to focus on her two sons, Garret and Locke, because they have cornered Aleisha and in no uncertain terms accused her of being a dark soul. Now, this brings up a few questions. The first of which might be, why? Why would they accuse her of being a dark soul? They've only just met her. Well, it turns out they have a deep-set hatred for Connor. And this goes back to the funeral that Connor mentioned that he had attended in this town earlier, where Byron's mate, Lorelei, was murdered. At the time of that funeral, Garret was a little boy, and Locke was not yet born. Fortuna was still pregnant with him. You may remember that a dark soul showed up to that funeral to murder Lorelei and ask Briganti to choose his pregnant wife's child to be the next dark soul. Well, Locke was supposed to be the next chosen babe, but after the events of that funeral, Briganti chose somebody else, not Locke. It could possibly be that dark soul's child. Nobody knows for certain right now. But Garret and Locke know that Connor, this person whom they blame for the dark soul power not being in their family, has shown up with another magic user, and they are going to make Connor's life miserable by making this girl's life miserable. It's just as simple as that. Simple, petty end revenge for something that Connor really didn't even have any control over. So one of the things that they say to Aleisha in order to make her uncomfortable and apprehensive about the whole situation is that they mention that this funeral occurred 25 years ago this fall. And this is a very interesting development for Aleisha because, for one thing, she has no idea how old Connor is and has been assuming, because he looks to be about her age, that he is about her age. And on the other hand, she will be 25 years old this coming fall. And that just seems a bit too coincidental for them to have been able to guess her age so specifically. Could they be telling the truth? Could there be something to this accusation? So she goes to Snarf, of course, because Snarf has made himself her friend in all of these things that have happened in the last few days, and starts asking him, quite subtly, some of the things that might corroborate or refute their story. Asking him when the funeral was, and if they haven't been in Pucco for 25 years, how old is Connor? To which we get a very amusing reply, in my opinion, where Snarf responds very flippantly, "Who cares? I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you my own age." It turns out that most of the time, at least in my experience with these characters that I've gotten to know, the older a being gets, the less attention they pay to time. And so for most of them, they couldn't even tell you within 5 years how old they are. Once they get to a couple of 100 years old, they don't care anymore. They don't know. So he directs her to one of his brothers, Griswold, who he says pays a lot more attention to chronology than any of the rest of them. And Griswold is able to verify that, yes, they were here 25 years ago this coming fall. Aleisha at this point is very uncomfortable, both with the idea that she's been traveling with a much older man than she realized and just didn't know because magic, I guess. And also with the idea that Briganti's chosen babe should be 25 years old this coming fall. And the coincidences are starting to stack up and make her incredibly uncomfortable in the whole situation. So if you come back next week, or even better, if you read the book for yourself, we can find out how all of this goes down. Is Aleisha a dark soul? And if so, is she Briganti's dark soul? If you'd like to read for yourself, I'll have the book linked in the description below. Otherwise, I will be back next week, possibly to answer those questions. Thank you.